We start this reading with the Empress and the Fool. Now this is a unique combination. The Fool, in a lot of ways, has gained his first dose of wisdom. He leaves behind the village of mediocrity and what he's always known, what he's familiar with. He has to take a leap of faith and embark upon his journey. And in this process, he goes through several stages of development. I actually think of the Fool as the first card because it is 0. 0 is pre-birth, or that place between birth and death. So really when we come to the Magician, number 1, the Fool has learned a bit. He's developed his tools. He's learned balance. But in order to create, because the Magician has infinite possibility to create, but in a lot of ways it's still very much a student. So in order for him to understand what he is to create, he has to go to the underworld and pass through the High Priestess. And so it is when the Fool re-emerges to the light of day with a deeper understanding of himself that he meets the nurturing, abundant energy of the Empress and really starts to enmesh with the energy of Venus. Now, it is a bit clumsy in the sense that he's sort of creating for the sake of creation. He hasn't really developed the higher meaning yet. He hasn't gone through the Hierophant, but in order to reach the Hierophant, he must go to the Emperor, who strips away all that the Fool creates in this period and teaches refinement, discipline, and how to focus one's efforts and will, which brings him to the Hierophant and then so on throughout the whole story. But what I'm getting at is you're re-emerging to the light of day. You've perhaps been in the underworld for some time, reflecting, contemplating, maybe healing, and you return to the world of the living with strength, faith. You may be sort of cutting ties from things that aren't really in alignment or serving you. It's seeking a higher purpose, and it's rooted in justice. You know, these cups represent something that was once regarded as treasure or pleasurable or beneficial, but eventually some of those things can start to weigh us down or no longer fit into the life we develop for ourselves as we mature and go through life. And rest assured that it is justice that you move towards this sort of unknown journey. I think that you're excited. I think that you're starting to come into your own in some ways. There's been a significant choice behind you, possibly around relationships. And I want to say, don't allow yourself to be kept in debate or confusion. I think that right now a clear mind and a focused vision is what's best, and managing past any sort of fear that comes up or that is intentionally brought to you. You also may have someone who is nervous to approach you in some ways or to communicate with you for whatever reason. Because in the outside influence, there's the Tower, there's the Hangman, but then eventually we get to the Page of Cups. Let's look a little bit further. I do want to take a moment to promote my Patreon. That is where all the extended versions of these readings go, as well as exclusive content, monthly art prints, and it is a great way to support me as an independent artist and creative. If you want to work with me on a one-on-one level, I also have options available for that in my shop. Everything is in the description below. There could very much be collaborations here. You know, it could start off kind of guarded, or everybody might be kind of guarded, or something, but it seems to lead to a very refreshing start for you, or a new inspiration, a new beginning. It would be emotionally fulfilling, it would be rewarding, but it sort of starts off with this skepticism, or boundaries that are sort of needed. Maybe there was conflict, or some kind of issue behind you, but it turns to clarity, and then it turns to passion, or fun. So it's like things kind of get more lighthearted as they proceed, and then they will organically turn into this fresh start of sorts, or very fulfilling situation. Because I do want to mention, on your mind you do have the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Wands. So this to me would be imagining working with someone, or specific people, or anything like that. So, and you may have some recognition with your work going on right now, but I'm more so seeing the Three of Pentacles here as a collaborative card, just because of all the cards surrounding it and the way the whole reading seems to be going. You may have a difficult time setting boundaries right now. And the outside influence, everything sort of seems to be on pause. Like perhaps you were put on pause, or you were sort of like set aside, and then it's almost like you're kind of reclaiming your energy. I don't see this in an antagonistic way or an aggressive way or anything like that. It's just sort of calling in your own power. It's just sort of making sure that you're taking care of you for the sake of you, and also just sort of being patient to see how things unfold. And I do think that that's the best way to go about this, because you might be healing in a lot of ways, and you're working towards certain celebrations, or certain harvests in your life. And it does suggest this, because in the outcome, basically it would suggest this all coming into fruition in a good way, particularly with the Ace of Cups ahead of you, and then the Three of Pentacles, the Three of Cups with the Eight of Pentacles. But you're fighting your way through. It's not like this is necessarily an easy process, but I do feel like you're very comfortable in how you're going about it, or you're very comfortable facing situations like this, or you're comfortable in uncertainty, or you just know how to navigate it. Perhaps you've navigated it several times before, and you have that foundation. For one, you might be completing or closing out a long chapter, but you have that foundation within yourself that allows you to face anything. So I'm going to take this to the extended on my Patreon. If you want to join us there, awesome. It's in the description below. If you want to book a personal reading, awesome. It's in the description below. If you enjoyed the reading, definitely feel free to like and subscribe. That also helps me out greatly. And I will look forward to reading for you next time.